What's up everybody, welcome to Top 10 Character Moments. Today we're breaking down my list for the top 10 best moments of everyone's favorite chiss, Grand Admiral Thrawn. For this list, I will be ranking his moments that are part of the current canon. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, go over to my other YouTube channel called Sector for Nerds, link in the description below, and subscribe there as well. Thank you guys so much for your support. Alright, let's get into a few honorable mentions before cracking the top 10, shall we? First up, meeting Baylan Skoll. I'm sorry, I meant General Baylan Skoll of the Jedi Order. This man met General Anakin Skywalker, General Baylan Skoll. In my head, Thrawn is just a massive Clone Wars mark. Makes this scene 1,000 times better for it. Next up, destroy it with prejudice. A line Thrawn says to Morgan Elsbeth, telling her what to do if a star whale approaches Peridea. I just remember watching that and my brother was just like, what does that mean? And I was like, well, it means destroy it with prejudice. Next up, almost losing it with Captain Slavin. This scene is so underrated because normally Thrawn is a cool, calm, and collected guy, but for a split second, he almost annihilates Imperial Captain Slavin for not appreciating Hera's Kalikori.
We should just destroy that piece of Twi'lek trash.
My apologies, Captain Slavin. I forgot not everyone is able to appreciate art as I do.
And finally, getting angry at Governor Price. Now luckily for her, this was over a hologram, because had Thrawn been there in person, he wouldn't have held back like he did with Slavin. And you know what? For good reason too. She destroyed his TIE Defender factory, the sole reason the man had interest in Lothal, and believe me, he was angry.
I will deal with you when I return, Governor.
Alright you guys, let's get into the top 10 list itself. You guys ready? Here we go. At number 10, narrowing his search to find the Rebel base. Thrawn dispatches Imperial warheads to search for the Rebel hideout, and one does reach it, and poor Zeb and AP-5 are in a dilemma. If it blows up, the Empire will know their location. If they let it go back, it'll report to the Empire what it saw. Either way, losing situation, until they come up with the idea to erase its memory and send it back home with the bomb still ticking. And it worked. Then Agent Kallus goes to speak with him, and the Chiss seemed in a surprisingly good mood. Thrawn was like, well, the rebels might have protected their location, but in doing so, they've narrowed my search. Before today, they could have been hiding anywhere on 1,000 planets. Well, now I've just narrowed it down to about 90. Man's a genius. At number 9, defeating his sentry droids. I like this scene because it shows that Thrawn isn't just an intelligent person, but he's a decent fighter as well. We first see him fight them in a training battle, and then the second time it's when Kallus reprograms them and tries to kill him. But in the end, the Imperial Admiral won. Shout out to the music in this scene too. It was basically Thrawn's theme but dialed up to 100. At number 8, learning the identity of Fulcrum. Another scene that shows off Thrawn's intelligence. Just when you think Kallus came up with a brilliant strategy to cover all his bases, Thrawn saw through all of it. He knew Lieutenant List wasn't capable of doing all the things he did, no offense List, and when he discovers who their prisoner was, he pieced everything together from there.
If Bridger was the shuttle thief, why didn't Kallus alert us?
Because, Colonel Yularen, Kallus is the rebel spy, Fulcrum. He used List's cylinder to impersonate and implicate him. And more importantly, he used the young Jedi's power to gain access to my office and reprogram my droids. Very skillfully, I might add.
I would never have suspected one of my best students was capable of this betrayal.
And that is why you and so many others have been deceived. I believe Agent Fulcrum will prove far more useful to the Empire than Kallus ever was.
At number 7, learning the identity of Darth Vader. In the book Thrawn Alliances, we learn that Thrawn and Anakin have a small history together, and it's through that history and getting the chance to go on a mission with Vader where he discovers the truth. Again, another scene that shows off the intelligence of the Chiss. Not many people know who's underneath that mask, but Thrawn was able to piece it together. At number 6, starting the TIE Defender program. One thing he tells Agent Kallus is that victory and defeat are often determined by the smallest variables, and you know what? He's right. Something that Price doesn't seem to understand. I to this day believe that Governor Pryce is one of the major reasons the Empire loses to the Rebellion. If Thrawn would have been able to mass produce his TIE Defenders, the Rebels wouldn't have stood a chance. They had no fighters that could combat its power or speed. The Empire was so wrapped up in having a giant ball that shoots lasers and destroys planets, while Thrawn was like, why not just have a stronger air force for our military? At number 5, his conversation with Ezra about power. One thing to know about Thrawn, he's a talker, if you haven't figured that out yet. He manages to get Ezra Bridger to surrender to him. They have a chat that starts out about the Force, how it's an enigma to him. But for all the power the Jedi have, they lack the knowledge on how to wield it. Found it cool to listen to Thrawn talk about the Force. Then he talks about how Lothal will inevitably be destroyed and how he's collected some of Sabine's artwork, and then Ezra just goes off on him, essentially saying that Thrawn doesn't deserve all the things that he's taken. And Thrawn has this crazy line where he's like, who deserves what is irrelevant. What matters is who has power.
Who deserves what is irrelevant. What matters is who has power. But that is something the Jedi won't teach you, so I'll take you to someone who will.
At number 4, his conversation with Hera about war. This was one of Thrawn's first big scenes in Star Wars Rebels. A scene that shows off his intelligence and shows us, the audience, that we're not dealing with our average Imperial anymore. This dude is on a whole nother level. And this is also the scene where we get that incredible organ theme for Thrawn as well. It's one of the best character themes ever in Star Wars.
War. It's all you ever known, isn't it? You were so young when you survived the Clone War. No wonder you're as equipped in spirit to fight as well as you do. War is in your blood. I study the art of war, work to perfect it. But you were forged by it.
At number 3, his return in the Ahsoka series. What was first a dream has become a frightening reality for those that may oppose him. I loved this so much. He got his grand entrance, that organ theme was dialed up to 1,000. So good. This was our first time seeing Thrawn in live action, and it didn't disappoint. Bringing back Lars Mikkelsen to not only voice the character but play him as well was such a great decision. I could ooh and ah over this all day. At number 2, escaping exile. The difference between Thrawn and a lot of other villains is that this dude actually gets his fair share of wins, this being one of them. He not only escapes his decade-long exile, but he leaves Ahsoka and Sabine behind with no way of escape, so now they are the ones who are stranded. Which sucks for me, because it means I can't see them potentially cameo in shows like The Mandalorian. Come on now. Those are two of my favorite Star Wars characters right there. But credit to Thrawn. The moment he figured out who Ahsoka Tano was, or more like, who her master was, he knew exactly how to deal with her, and it worked. And now that Thrawn is back in the known galaxy, it's only gonna spell disaster for everyone else. And finally, at number 1, defeating the rebellion at the Battle of Atollon. Speaking of things spelling disaster for everyone, this is probably Thrawn's biggest win in the new canon. Thrawn was 10 steps ahead of the rebels the whole time, and it got to a point where he had them in checkmate. The only reason the remaining rebels escaped was because of the Bendu, and to be fair, there was literally no way Thrawn could have prepared for that. It was a non-military element.
You fear the storm, Master Jedi?
Yeah, and you should too. Hang on to something.
What Jedi devilry is this?
I am the Bendu.
Nevertheless, I feel like this battle was the main reason why Thrawn became so afraid of open warfare with the Empire. Thrawn wiped out the majority of General Dodonna and Commander Sato's fleet. Everything Phoenix Squadron was working so hard to build, gone. It's why the rebellion were hesitant about helping Lothal. It's why they were hesitant about going to Scarif. That day, Thrawn showed the galaxy why people should indeed fear the Empire. So there you have it, guys. That's my list for the top 10 best moments of Grand Admiral Thrawn. As a lot of you should hopefully know by now, this is the last top 10 video I'm going to be doing for a long while. I put a video up on this channel a couple weeks ago explaining why this is the case, so make sure you guys check it out if you haven't yet. I want to thank you all for your support on this channel. I'm really proud of the work I was able to do on here, and the fact you guys showed your love and appreciation for those videos means everything to me. If you guys want more content from me, I highly recommend you subscribe to my other YouTube channel called Sector for Nerds. That's where I'll be dedicating my time on YouTube going forward. A lot of what I do over there is content about Star Wars, along with some MCU stuff as well. My brother is going to start doing more video game live streams on the channel for those who enjoy gaming. It would mean so much to me if you guys could go over there and subscribe, as I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.